Alright guys, what is up? Welcome to my fantasy football YouTube channel. I'm going to be grinding this channel, putting out as much content as possible. So guys, just like, subscribe, show me what's up. But anyways, we're going to get right into our first wide receiver of the week, which is Tyreek Hill for Chicago. It's an automatic start. Like, no way you're not starting him. You probably drafted him first, second round. You want to start Tyreek, of course. He has 69 receptions. He's first in the NFL in receptions, 961 yards. He's also first in that area too. He almost has 1,000 receiving yards in the first 8 weeks. We're going into week 9. Chicago is 5th in passing, but that is, you're still going to start him versus Chicago. Chicago is always known to have not such a good team. Their defense is coming together. Their average is 188 yards passing per game. They just did give up 244 yards passing last week. All the quarterbacks and safeties are healthy on Chicago. I don't think this will matter. Tyreek, automatic start. Alright guys, for our wide receiver 2 of the week, we're going to have Stefon Diggs. He has 55 receptions. He's third in that. 764 yards. He's second in that. And 7 touchdowns. He's first in that. So obviously, if you have Stefon Diggs, you love him because that touchdown upside, that's really helping him out. The New York Jets are averaging 203 passing yards per game, so they're middle of the pack there. All the safeties and cornerbacks are healthy. I don't really think this is going to matter. If Sauce Gardner goes out, I just looked at this. Michael Carter II comes in too, so this team doesn't really have a lot of depth on defense, it looks like. So I would definitely start Stefon Diggs. Obviously, if you have him, you're starting it. Automatically start Stefon Diggs. For our wide receiver 3, we have Cooper Kupp. It's a no-brainer. Like, he's literally going out there, at least getting you 15 fantasy points per game. That's why he might have been your number overall pick in your drafts. So you're obviously going out there and starting him. He has 686 yards on the season, 64 receptions, and 5 touchdowns. So that stat line is good by itself. And automatically, he's like their number 1 target in this Rams offense. Like, anybody else getting targeted than Cooper Kupp is weird. You have a little bit of target share with Tyler Higbee, but he is ultimately taking almost all the target share, which is a good thing for your Cooper Kupp owners. They're playing Tampa Bay. They're 6th overall in passing, which is kind of bad, but it's still good because it's Cooper Kupp. And they're averaging 194 yards per game. But if you have Cooper Kupp, automatic start versus Tampa Bay. Alright guys, for my wide receiver number 4, I have Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson has been amazing. He's been just lacking a little bit in the touchdown area. I could have put him in 3rd in the Cooper Kupp place, but I feel like this fits better. He has 52 total receptions, 752 yards, 2 touchdowns, which we just want to see the touchdowns go up. I'm a Justin Jefferson owner, so I want to see the touchdowns go up, obviously. I think they will. The quarterback there is healthy. The Commanders are 16th in passing, which kind of makes them middle of the pack, and 214 passing yards per game. So that's like middle of the pack, but I think Justin Jefferson's going to have an amazing game. I'm looking to a blow performance here. I really like Justin Jefferson where he is. Alright guys, for my wide receiver 5, I took DeAndre Hopkins versus Seattle. He has 262 yards, 22 receptions, and 1 touchdown. He's averaging 131 yards through 2 games and 11 receptions through 2 games. That 1 touchdown he had was crazy, the one-hander last week. They're playing Seattle. Their cornerbacks are healthy, which I don't really think matters. They're 21st in passing yards, and they're giving up 236 yards per game. You have Hollywood Brown out, so that definitely helps DeAndre Hopkins. You have Rondale Moore healthy. I really don't think that hurts at all because they are just going to keep passing to DeAndre. That's the number 1 target there in Arizona. For my wide receiver 6, I took Jalen Waddle versus the Chicago Bears. I think this is a great matchup. Obviously, if you have Jalen Waddle after last week's performance, he almost put up 30 points. You're going to start him. They're playing Chicago. They give up 188 yards per game. They're 5th in the NFL, so it's definitely a defense that's coming together. But Chicago's known to be a bad team, and I do agree with that. But I think their defense is definitely coming together, which hurts a little bit with Jalen Waddle's spot. So maybe Tyreek can't get open. They pass to Jalen Waddle, so this might help you. He has 42 receptions, 727 yards, 5 touchdowns, and he's the wide receiver too. So automatic start on Jalen Waddle. I have him as my wide receiver 6. Alright guys, for my wide receiver 7, I took Davante Adams versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. I feel like this is a great matchup. Obviously, if you have Davante, you're starting him. The Jaguars are 22nd in passing yards, so that doesn't make them the best. They're a little bit more than middle of the pack. 237 passing yards per game. Their cornerbacks are healthy. Davante Adams has 38 receptions, 512 yards, and 5 touchdowns on the year. Davante's been playing great. He's had some long bombs, so definitely start Davante Adams if you have him. No doubt about it. That's why he's my wide receiver 7. Alright guys, for my 8th wide receiver, I'm going A.J. Brown versus the Texans. I feel like this will be a great matchup for them. They're just going to keep throwing the ball. The game script obviously is in their favor. They might just run it after a few touchdowns, but I think A.J. will definitely score during this game. They're going against the Texans, who are 17th in passing, 217 passing yards per game. Their quarterbacks are healthy. I really don't know what's going on with the Texans. You know, you have Brandon Cooks sitting out of this game because he wants to be traded. You know, they're 1-5-1, so they're not the best. But anyways, AJ Brown has 43 receptions, 718 yards, 6 touchdowns. Ultimately, versus Pittsburgh, 3 touchdowns in that game. Could have scored 4. You know, so I definitely think AJ Brown is a must start from now on. I'm definitely counting him in on a touchdown this game. Alright guys, for my 9th wide receiver, I'm taking Mike Evans versus the Los Angeles Rams. I know this might be a big one because you got Jalen Ramsey back there. They're probably going to be matched up on each other. Mike Evans has 39 receptions, 577 yards, and 3 touchdowns on the season. Los Angeles is 11th in passing, giving up 205 passing yards per game. I think Mike is an automatic start here. He hasn't really scored a lot, only 3 touchdowns. And I feel like Tom Brady's going to get out of this little slump he's in. You know, everything he's going on in his personal life, I feel like that's just going to die down a little bit, and he's really going to get focused on football. Alright guys, for my 10th wide receiver, I'm going St. Brown versus the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers cornerbacks are healthy. They're 2nd in passing, 174 yards per game. St. Brown has 35 receptions, 344 yards, and 3 touchdowns. This might be a controversial place for him, but I think he's gonna have a good game. He hasn't had a good game in a minute. Detroit's kind of coming on. I didn't like how they traded away TJ Hawkinson, but it is what it is. You know, I think St. Brown's gonna have a great game. If you have him, start him. All right guys, for my wide receiver number 11, I'm taking T. Higgins. You can put him as my wide receiver 10, but I think he's gonna be the 11th. They are playing the Carolina Panthers. Their cornerbacks are healthy. He has 34 receptions, 504 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Carolina is 20th in passing, 232 yards per game. This is a good spot for T. Higgins. I definitely think that he has an insane ceiling, but also he didn't perform that well versus the Browns last week. He only had 1 touchdown. I know you're saying he only had, but I just thought he was going to go crazy versus the Browns. They do have Denzel Ward and stuff, but I just thought he was going to go crazy versus the Browns. That touchdown saved his whole fantasy week, but he might go crazy versus the Panthers. I can see him definitely going crazy, dropping a 24 game, 26 game, anything like that. So if you have T. Higgins, I would definitely start him. Alright guys, for my wide receiver 12, I'm taking Chris Olave versus the Baltimore Ravens. The quarterbacks are healthy in Baltimore. He has 37 receptions, 547 yards, 2 touchdowns. Obviously, Michael Thomas getting injured helps him. Michael Thomas is out for the rest of the year. Ultimately, good matchup versus Baltimore. They're 28th in passing, 266 yards per game. For Chris Olave, I definitely think this is going to be a boom game. You can rank him ultimately top 8 wide receiver this week. I feel like he's going to do great. Alright Alright guys, for my wide receiver number 13, I'm taking Chris Godwin. He has 35 receptions and 368 yards, and they're playing the Los Angeles Rams, who are 11th in passing, giving up 205 yards. Chris Godwin is a great wide receiver too, not really a good wide receiver one. He does have a lot of volume with Tom Brady as his quarterback. Like I said earlier, I think Tom Brady's going to break out this little slump that he's in, and Chris Godwin's going to start producing again like he used to. So I'm putting him at number 13. Alright guys, for my wide receiver number 14, I have Michael Pittman Jr. 51 receptions, 528 yards, 1 touchdown. He's playing the Patriots, so it's definitely not looking any better. You just had Matt Ryan benched, and you have a rookie quarterback coming in to play. They're not going to be throwing it a lot. They might throw it this week because, you have Jonathan Taylor down, so that's a little bit of an upside. But they're also going the Patriots, who is 19th in passing, 224 passing yards per game, and it's just not looking any better for Michael Pittman. And from the start of the season, I didn't think it was going to look good for Michael Pittman, but you never know. Hopefully he scores this game. So yeah. For my wide receiver number 15, I have Gabe Davis. A lot of people wouldn't rank him here, but I feel like he has a ton of upside with the Buffalo Bills. No matter what, they're just going to keep throwing the ball. They don't care if they're up by 20. They're just going to keep throwing the ball. Josh Allen looks like a prime Tom Brady right now, except he can just run it a little bit better. But the cornerbacks are healthy on the Jets. They're 10th in passing, 203 passing yards per game. Gabe Davis has 16 receptions, 478 yards, 4 touchdowns, and that touchdown upside is so high, especially when they just keep passing the ball. 15th wide receiver, I have Tyler Boyd going against the Carolina Panthers. He has 32 receptions, 493 yards, 4 total touchdowns. Jamar Chase going down obviously benefits him. He's seen more targets. He had a touchdown last game. I think he could break out for 2 touchdowns this game. You just never know. They go up against Carolina, 20th in passing, 232 yards per game. Their cornerbacks are healthy. I think Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins either eat this game, have a total good game, 1 touchdown each, 2 touchdowns, whatever it is. Or, Carolina curse, they might just suck. Who knows? But that's where I have Tyler Boyd at my 6th. For my wide receiver number 17, I have Josh Palmer. His ceiling is going to be insane, him and Gerald Everett. I feel like this is also going to be a shootout match. They're going against Atlanta, which is literally dead last. 32nd, they're giving up 306 passing yards per game. Their cornerbacks are healthy. I don't think that's going to make a difference at all. Josh Palmer has 26 receptions, 240 yards, 1 touchdown. Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are both hurt. Mike Williams is the deep shot wide receiver, and Keenan Allen is the short wide receiver. And that just leaves it to Josh Palmer. He's the wide receiver 3, but now he's the wide receiver 1 for the Chargers. I feel like he's going to have a crazy game. Number 18, I have Tyler Lockett versus the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona Cardinals are known for stopping wide receiver 1, so this is a great tier for Tyler Lockett. Arizona's 23rd in the passing game, 252 passing yards per game. Cornerbacks are healthy. Tyler Lockett has 46 receiving yards, 46 receptions, 531 yards, 3 touchdowns. He dropped a touchdown last week, got it back, he scored. Both were kind of in the end zone, like right there. He also did fumble last week, so he's coming off a bad game, so I feel like he's going to have a good game this week versus Arizona, and I feel like this game's definitely going to be a shootout versus both teams. Number 19, I have Jakobi Meyers versus the Colts. He has 35 receptions, 415 yards, and 3 touchdowns. The cornerbacks are healthy on the Colts. They're 8th in passing, 199 yards per game. I see Jakobi Meyers getting better in the future. I don't know if it will be this game. They need to find out who the quarterback is in New England. Is it Mac Jones or is it Bailey Zappi? I feel like Mac Jones will definitely take over in that quarterback position in the next 3 games or so. But each quarterback, Bailey Zappi and Mac Jones, could develop very well, and I see them being stars in the next, 10 years, 5 years or so. But wide receiver number 20, I'm taking Christian Kirk. He has 35 receptions, 498 yards, 4 total touchdowns. They're playing the Raiders. The Raiders defense have been piss poor. They've been really struggling on defense and a little bit on offense. Without Devontae Adams, like, I don't know where they'd be. But anyways, they're 25th in passing, 258 yards per game. The cornerbacks are healthy, but I really don't think that's going to matter. I think Christian Kirk could have like a baller game, but who knows? Receiver number 21, I'm taking DK Metcalf. He has 39 receptions, 473 yards, and 3 total touchdowns. DK Metcalf has been good this year. He just got carted off too, so he's coming off a little bit of an injury. I know he played last week. He played a little bit banged up. They said he wasn't going to come back, but he did come back to the game. The cornerbacks are healthy in this game, and Arizona is 23rd in passing with 252 yards per game. They're known to shut down wide receiver ones. That's why Tyler Lockett is definitely ranked up, and DK Metcalf also might be a little bit banged up in this. Me too, I'm taking Terry McLaurin versus the Minnesota Vikings. He has 33 receptions, 553 yards, 2 touchdowns. The Minnesota Vikings are 29th in passing, giving 275 yards per game. Cameron Dintzler is questionable, their cornerback, so that will definitely help out Terry McLaurin if he does end up going out. But if he's in the game, it's not really going to matter. It's still Terry McLaurin. The only problem with Terry McLaurin is the quarterback play. You know, you have Carson Wentz. I don't really see a difference in between the two quarterbacks. I care less who starts. They need a new quarterback. Wide receiver number 23, I have Juju Smith-Schuster. He has 34 receptions, 494 yards, 2 touchdowns. The cornerbacks are healthy. They're playing the Tennessee Titans. They're 24th in passing, giving up 254 yards per game. I think this is going to be a really good matchup for Juju. Like, I think his ceiling is really high right here. He has potential to score, and I think potential to score like 16, 18 fantasy points easily. But he is in a wide receiver committee. You have running back committees where there's 3, 4 running backs. There's no wide receiver 1 on the Kansas City Chiefs other than Travis Kelce. 24, I have DJ Moore versus the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are 15th in passing, giving up 210 yards per game. DJ Moore has 33 receptions, 425 yards, and 3 touchdowns. The cornerbacks are healthy for Cincinnati. I don't think this will affect DJ Moore. DJ Moore is the number 1 target in Carolina by far. They have been running the ball recently a little bit with the loss of Christian McCaffrey. They've been running it with Foreman, Hubbard, but I think DJ Moore might have a touchdown this game. The Carolina Panthers are actually like starting to come together with that beat against the Bucs. And for my wide receiver number 25, I have Romeo Doubs against the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions are 27th in passing, giving up 266 yards per game. Doubs has 30 receptions, 296 yards, and 3 touchdowns. If this is the only game he pops off, he's gonna pop off this game. Like, I think if you have him in deeper leagues, maybe like a flex option, it's awesome because they're playing Detroit. Detroit's 27th in passing. Detroit's defense is horrific, and Allen Lazard is out, and Watkins is out, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Watkins is out. So that just leaves him as the only wide receiver there. So, and the cornerbacks are healthy for Detroit. I don't really think that's going to matter. If Dobbs is going to have a good game, it's going to be the 26th wide receiver. I have Devin Duvernay going against the Saints. The Saints are 12th in passing, giving up 208 yards per game. Devin Duvernay has 24 receptions, 313 yards, and 3 touchdowns. The cornerbacks are healthy. Marshawn Lattimore is healthy for the Saints. He was coming off a questionable, but he is healthy. So Mark Andrews went down, and Rashad Bateman is out for the year. And Gus Edwards is also out. So if this is like a game he's going to pop off, it's going to be this game. That's going to be Lamar Jackson's number 1 target for sure. And the running backs there aren't going to take as much snaps. They're in a running back committee. They haven't decided who their number 1 lead running back is. So I think if Devin Duvernay is going to have a good game, it's going to be this. Wide receiver, I have Rondale Moore versus Seattle. Seattle's 21st in passing, giving up 236 yards per game. Rondale Moore has 24 receptions, 251 yards, and 1 touchdown. The cornerbacks for Seattle are healthy, but I really don't think this matters because if they can't get DeAndre the ball, they're going to give Rondale Moore the ball. And Rondale Moore hasn't really had a really breakout game yet. I feel like if they can't get DeAndre the ball, then Rondale Moore is going to score right here. I have good feelings about Rondale Moore. My wide receiver number 28, I have Adam Thielen going against the Washington Commanders. They're 16th in passing, giving up 214 yards per game. Adam Thielen has 35 receptions, 351 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Really good matchup. The cornerbacks are healthy for the Commanders, but it's not going to do much. I feel like Minnesota's just going to take this one and just blow him up. So hopefully Adam Thielen gets a touchdown early for you Adam Thielen owners, but I have a really good feeling about this game. For number 29, I have Devontae Smith versus the Houston Texans. The Texans are 17th in passing, giving up 217 yards per game. Smith has 40 receptions, 442 yards, 2 touchdowns. The cornerbacks are healthy. I honestly think this is definitely the A.J. Brown show from now on. I don't think Devontae Smith's going to have any boom games coming up. I think this is the A.J. Brown show. And the Eagles, honestly, they're such a good offense that it's really hard to start one player other than A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts. It really is. Unless you're playing deeper leagues flex, then it's obviously a good play. But if you're in an 8-team league, it's hard to start other players than A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts, and Dallas Goedert, for example. So I'm not starting A.J. Brown. I mean, guys, I have Elijah Moore as my wide receiver 30. After looking back on this, I don't even know if he's going to play. He is in a little bit of a situation with his team. He wants a trade request. He's in his rookie deal. It doesn't really make sense. He's not getting the ball. Obviously, Zach Wilson's his quarterback, and he likes to throw the ball to the other team. But still, guys, like, I don't know if I would start Elijah Moore at all because we just don't even know if he's going to play. Brandon Cooks just sat out of this game because he didn't get traded, so we don't know what Elijah Moore is going to do. But that is wrapping it up. Please make sure to like and subscribe. This video took forever to edit and everything. I'm really going to put work into these videos, and I'm going to start posting regularly. So if you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching.